It began in the Valley of the Kings, where the tomb of Amon Ra-Neet was discovered, and the slumber of the sleeping princess was disturbed. Little did Lord Canterville know, when he ordered the transfer of the mummy to England, that he had awakened an ancient pharaonic curse that would haunt him and those with him until the end of time. Aboard the Titanic, the ship of dreams that turned into a terrifying nightmare, Amon Ra-Neet began her journey of revenge. The souls of the victims fell like autumn leaves in a series of horrific events. John Carter was the only man who realized the truth of what was happening, fighting alone against the forces of evil. He pleaded and warned, but no one believed his stories of a cursed mummy causing all this death. With the sinking of the Titanic into the depths of the ocean, everyone thought the story was over, that the curse of Amon Ra-Neet was buried with it at the bottom of the Atlantic. But they were wrong, very wrong. For from the heart of darkness, from the wreckage of the sunken ship, an evil energy emanated, announcing that the princess's revenge had not yet begun. Amon Ra-Neet was now free, released from the constraints of the coffin and the prison of the deep. Her curse began to haunt everyone involved in desecrating her tomb and anyone who dared to approach the wreckage of the Titanic. At first, death came stealthily, like a black shadow surprising its victims in a moment of unawareness. The Egyptologist who deciphered the hieroglyphs found himself trapped in his office as fire consumed everything around him. There was no logical reason for the fire, as if hell had opened from nothingness to swallow him alive. The photographer who dared to take pictures of the mummy was found dead in the developing room, surrounded by terrifying images showing his face distorted, his eyes gouged out as if he had seen hell before departing from life. The wealthy businessman who financed Canterville's expedition fell from the top of a skyscraper for no apparent reason. Eyewitnesses swore they saw a black shadow push him from behind before disappearing into thin air. John Carter lived in a continuous hell, haunted by the nightmares of Amon Ra-Neet and the screams of her victims. He tried to warn others, but his words were met with ridicule and accusations of insanity. Over time, Carter became isolated, living alone in an old cottage on the outskirts of the city. He spent his days writing his memoirs, trying to document everything that happened, hoping that one day someone would believe him. But Amon Ra-Neet would not leave him alone. Her curse haunted him everywhere, whispering in his ear at night and sending him terrifying visions of her victims. One night, while Carter was writing by the flickering light of a candle, he heard a soft knock on the door of his cottage. He opened the door cautiously, only to find a small parcel wrapped in dirty cloth. Carter opened the parcel with a trembling heart, only to find Amon Ra-Neet's golden mask inside. The mask was as cold as ice and radiated a dark energy that filled the room. At that moment, Carter realized that his end was near. There was no escape from the curse of Amon Ra-Neet. The next morning, John Carter was found dead in his cottage, his face covered with the golden mask of Amon Ra-Neet. His eyes were wide open, with a look of eternal horror etched on them. Carter's case was closed as another suicide, and no one paid attention to his strange memoirs. But the story of Amon Ra-Neet did not end there, for in the depths of the ocean, where the Titanic rests in eternal slumber, the spirit of Amon Ra-Neet still sends her curse to the surface. Divers who tried to explore the wreckage returned trembling, talking about terrifying whispers calling their names and shadows chasing them in their dreams. It is said that everyone who tried to approach the Titanic after that met a similar fate. Entire submarines were lost, search crews disappeared without a trace, and ships sank under mysterious circumstances. The Titanic became a forbidden zone, surrounded by legends and curses. No one dares to approach the lair of Amon Ra-Neet, where she holds her grip on the wreckage of the ship, sending her curse across the waves. To this day, the story of Amon Ra-Neet is still told among sailors as a cautionary tale about the wrath of the pharaohs and the revenge of the dead. Who knows, perhaps one day Amon Ra-Neet will decide to leave her watery grave and ascend to the surface once again to begin a new journey of revenge, sparing no one. Thus, the story of Amon Ra-Neet remains a terrifying mystery and a dark page in human history. It reminds us that tampering with the forces of evil comes at a high price, and that the curse of the pharaohs may haunt you even if you are in the deepest oceans of the earth forever.